Today we will write a simple high-low indicator. We will write the indicator together to identify all the highs and all the lows in the market, and it will look something like this. You can see there's a low, it's high, there's a low, high, and low marked on the chart. So if you already have the MetaTrader 5 desktop version open, you can click IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. We then click on New. We go to Custom Indicator, we click Next. Now you want to give it a name, you can call yours obviously whatever you want, but I'm going to call mine High-Low. Next, and Finish. Then need to clean this up a little bit. We don't need any of this top part, as that's just for copyright if you want to sell it later. Remove all the grey lines, as these are not needed. These are just comments for the programmer. So we can get rid of these, and it just makes things look a lot nicer. I then like to rearrange my curly brackets to make it neater. Just space everything out a little bit. This property indicator chart window we need because it tells the MetaTrader to display the indicator directly on the main chart instead of in a separate sub window like how you have for the RSI. So this is how it should look, and we can continue building the code. We need to define our buffers and plots. So we're using two buffers, one for highs and one for lows, and we're plotting both of them onto the chart. Let's define the plot. For the highs we will need 4 properties. We've made the label high, set the colour to white, used a solid line and drawn it as arrows. We now copy and paste this below for the lows. Make sure to change the label style, colour and type to 2. Also you can use a different colour for this one. I will use black. We will only need one input, which will be depth equals 20. It controls how many candles we look back and forward to find swing highs and lows. Now we will need the 2 arrays to fill the buffers. These are our 2 main arrays, one to store the highs, one to store the lows. Now we will add last direction equals 0 and date time last time equals 0. We'll use these 2 variables to help filter repeated signals. One tracks the last signal direction and the other tracks the time. So let's move on to the onInit function. We will use indicator set integer. This sets the number of digits to match the chart symbol, then set index buffer. We attach each buffer to our arrays. Buffer 0 is for highs, buffer 1 is for lows. Now we use array set as series. This makes the arrays run from right to left, so index 0 is the most recent candle, then plot index set double. This hides the plot when there's no signal, otherwise it will draw random values. Finally we use plot index set integer. This shifts the highs slightly above the candle and the lows slightly below. And that's the end of the initialization. Let's now move on to the onCalculate function. This is the main function that runs every time the chart updates. We will use array set as series, and we will fill these arrays with high equals true, low equals true, and time equals true. Again, we make sure that the arrays are reversed. The most recent candle is index 0. We then need to declare limit equals rates total minus prev calculated. Then limit equals mathmin limits rate total minus depth times 2 minus 1. This calculates how many candles we need to process, and we limit it to avoid errors. now we need to start the main loop. To do this, we will need to create a simple loop. This will loop backwards through the candles, with 0 being the current candle. Next we use highs filled with I, empty, and that equals empty value. Same with lows. This clears out any old values, so we only plot fresh highs or lows. Now to detect the highs, we will need to check if this point is the highest value in the range, and if so, this identifies a swing high. This block avoids repeated highs if the previous one was already higher. If all checks pass, then we store the high and we update the direction and time. It's the same logic for the lows. We check for the swing lows and filter out duplicates, and once confirmed we store the low and update the tracking variables. Finally, we return the total number of candles processed, and that's it. You have a working high-low indicator. Thank you for watching. See you next time.